my camera. There we go.
Good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday live stream. I'm Rob. That beach bum over there is Jason Arsenault. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you guys? Or how are you? Where's everyone? What's going on?
Well, Sam's going to be a few minutes late. He had something come up. And, here is the man of the hour, Alex, down there.
I didn't recognize the. Oh man!
We should just all pretend we're at the beach and just do this shirtless. Just the women will just drive to the stream.
I got my truckies on.
I thought you'd at least have sunglasses, Alex.
Oh, you're right.
I don't have anything beachy, so. I mean, I got my swim trunks, but I'm not going to go put those on.
I gotta fix my camera here. My camera's doing that wonky thing again. 1 second.
Uh-oh. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. I'm ready to party, man. Is it 37 degrees Fahrenheit? Maybe.
It's cold as balls here.
Yeah.
There's nothing summer about this.
Hey, you know what, boys? What's a better noise than... Rob, that could be a nice cold Dr. Pepper for you. You know,
I love Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything cold that comes from a can.
I mean, the only other noise that is equally as satisfying is that giant fart first thing in the morning when you roll out of bed that makes your wife go, "Why did I marry you?"
How did I know you were going there?
See, some of us don't have that problem. So.
Well, you're lucky. Well, no, maybe you're not lucky. Well, it depends on your perspective.
There's nothing lucky about my life and what's in it right now. So
I love mine, so I'm not going to complain. Not that she's ever going to watch this, but.
Hey, Dan. Dan, I got one from Fernie. Another Fernie beer, Dan.
There you go. Dan says, "Hey, Bushwhack Jason." You know what you remind me of? You should be in you look like you should be in Crocodile Dundee or something.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
You call that a knife.
So, how's everybody been since last week? Anything new and exciting?
I don't know about Jason. I feel like Rob, you've been doing this YouTube thing a lot longer than both Jason and I have. And I don't want to speak for Jason, but it gets when life starts happening and you're just like, oh yeah, you got the, it's like, this is still so much fun, right? Like, we'll always do this. Like, it's a ton of fun, but it's weird when all these different things and work and personal life and family, all this stuff starts happening. And then you're just like, man, I was struggling to make videos in the first place before, when I was in a good mood,
right?
You
could just be like Jason and don't make them at all.
Well, I mean, hey, Jason, you should. Did you do a video in that outfit right before this stream, Jason?
No.
You should.
Yeah.
I do have a fair bit of new records, though.
I get what you mean, man. When life's busy and YouTube takes time, I mean, it's a fun thing, but I went through a period a year ago for a month and a half where it felt like work. So I didn't put out a video for a month and a half because I was so busy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't enjoying it.
Yep.
And I had no ideas. And then I came out of it and, it's been great ever since. But yeah, it's.
Rob, when you started, Rob, at what point did you decide to kind of venture down the editing rabbit hole? Because clearly your editing was top
right off the
now.
beginning.
You were, eh? Yeah.
Right. But I sucked at it then, only slightly less than I suck at it now. I mean, slightly more than I suck at it now. But no, I always had this idea that I wanted it to be as good as I could make it. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to have a name right off the top, and I wanted to have a logo right off the top and some kind of branding to tie it together. And I wanted it to, kind of look like I'm just not some guy filming with a phone in my basement, which is in reality what I actually am. A guy filming with my phone in my basement.
The phones do a great job.
Yeah, they do. They do. So yeah, I wanted to do that right off the beginning. And also I was fascinated with the prospect of acquiring that skill set. I didn't know how to edit a video at all when I started. I didn't even know how to upload a video to YouTube, let alone edit it. So I enjoyed the gradual acquisition of skills that I have acquired up to this point, which are still nothing, but I can do a few tricks every now and then. So
yeah, no, you make it look good, man. It doesn't look shabby at all. It looks professional.
I see other folks out there that
Chance is really good at it. The folks at the Final Reckoning, they're the young couple. They're really good at it. Well, there's a ton. I'm sure there's a lot of.
There's always been two right off the hop that I was just like, wow, if I can be half as good as those. One is Frank Landry out in Channel 33.
Yeah,
I think he does an awesome job. But the guy that does it better than anyone else on all of YouTube, as far as I'm concerned, is Andrew at Parlogram. He's the Beatles guy.
Yeah.
I mean, his videos, he has a staff of people.
Right.
But his videos are still incredible.
I haven't seen that, but here's a guy that most people will probably know of him, but he doesn't put out a lot at all, like maybe a few a year. And that's that Baraka P. Dub. Have you ever heard of that guy? My God, his openings are like a cinematic, like a movie. Like it's unreal, the quality that he puts in. I think he's like a rocket scientist for NASA or something. Like he's got a brain on him.
Yeah.
And obviously knows his stuff. He does like, song samples and things like that. But I have an iPhone. I thought I was next level when I bought like a friggin' ring light with like a holder on it.
That's the thing, though. Jason, you and I struggle to put out content enough. Imagine if we had to actually like work to edit it.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. Like Rob said, like, there'll be days where it feels more like work, and some days that's exactly what's going on, right? But
I still enjoy it. But sometimes I see someone do like a thread response. Yeah, I could jump on that. I pull the records real quick. I could make the video, but then I'm like, still got to edit it and do all that. So for me to make, I try to put out like a 15-minute video once a week, and I always upload on Sunday mornings. And that 15-minute video takes me 3 to 4 hours to make. So there's no such thing as a quick. So the one I put out last Sunday, Songs About Toronto, I only did that because my pal Brian over at Embryonic Robot, he did it. And I'm like, well, I mean, lob a softball right into the strike zone for me, right? Like I have to do this. Like, I'll just put a quick one out in the middle of the week. And I'm like, no, I can't, because then it's not going to be like the rest of my videos. I'm like, well, it's going to be my regular weekly video now. And then I put 3 hours into it, and it was still fun and I enjoyed it. But sometimes the whole production kind of handcuffs you a little bit. I'm too much of a perfectionist, and these are not perfect by any means. My videos are still shit, but I just can't allow myself to just let me just press record and I'll just upload. I can't do it.
Yeah,
can't do it. I should say some hi to some folks here. So I already said hi to Dan and Martin. And what's James have to say here? Favorite non-Beach Boys summer song is Salcedo, Summer Night by Diesel. When Alex suggested this topic, the first thought I had in my head is, God damn it, I don't have Rock and Roll Jesus so that I could show All Summer Long by Kid Rock. Because that would have just been perfect. I don't have it. So
you're missing it, obviously. I mean,
right? I mean, if I ever saw it, I would buy it. Just, why not?
You got to complete. I mean, you are
getting back to Jason. Did you ask because you're going to jump down the editing rabbit hole, or what's the?
No, I was just watching just different videos there last night and realizing how much effort and time people must put in. Like this person had like a screenshot into their video. They had a screenshot of their editing software, and I'm just like, blows my mind. I'd have to learn so much. Like I guess I'd follow YouTube channels that teach you that for sure, but it seems like a very daunting task. But it's
not actually. It's pretty simple. I use Adobe Premiere Pro because I'm a big Adobe user. in my previous job, I was a product and marketing manager in the same industry that I'm in now, but I'm in sales now. I was product and marketing manager before. So I had to, I taught myself graphic design and I taught myself Photoshop, and those were Adobe programs. So it wasn't too much of a Premiere Pro and Illustrator and Photoshop. It's all part of a creative suite bundle that Adobe makes. And if you're familiar with one of them, you can figure out the other. So I'm like, well, I love the programs in that platform that I know. So I just sort of taught myself Photoshop, and I'd come up with an idea, or Premiere Pro, I should say. And I would come up with an idea. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So then I find a tutorial how to do something, and I'm always trying to figure out something new, but it's not as complicated as you think it is. You can make it as complicated as you want, but literally you have a timeline that has your audio on it and it has your video on it, and you just put shit on top of it and you layer it like a sandwich. So if you've got video here and you put another video clip on top of it, what's on top of it is what's going to be seen. I mean, it's...
You had me at sandwich, Rob.
Yeah.
What kind of sandwich?
Some kind of hoagie.
A hoagie. That's
what
right.
The hell's a hoagie?
It's
a submarine sandwich.
Oh,
that's what I've been calling subscribers is hoagies, because it's like that's another like term for a sub. You know.
Gotcha. I like a good meatball sub. Jason, do you have Firehouse subs out in BC?
No.
Oh. I don't think it's an American chain, but they were founded by firefighters, which I thought you might appreciate. And a certain proceed of sales goes into like some kind of charity, firefighter benevolent funds or whatever. But they make, I mean, they blow Subway out of the water. They're just,
oh god. Yeah, Firehouse is good.
Yeah, amazing. Expensive, but good. You want 2 foot long subs, you're going to pay $35.
It's the cost of doing business.
That's right. But it's worth every damn penny.
That's like 20 American though. So it's
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It ain't cheap, but are good.
God.
I had one yesterday. It's delicious.
What's the average price for a record there, Alex? Brand new record from Coal Mine would cost you what? Single LP.
Well, I mean, yeah, Coal Mine might be a bad example, but brand new records from Coal Mine are $22.
Wow.
So cheap.
But, you know.
God damn.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's probably we're still in a place of like non-gatefold, no bells and whistles, cheap sleeve, single record, probably still $25.
We're 39 up here.
Right. But that's, you know, you get into doubles and the gatefolds and, you know.
Then you're 60, 65.
Yeah, I mean, oof, man.
It's brutal. Yeah, so when you say you accumulated your collection of like 2,500 plus, like since pretty much COVID, like when I started, same thing. Like that is so much. Just like obviously you didn't pay that much for each.
No, but I mean, you've seen. I mean, I go out to these stupid dollar sales and buy shit records every other day.
But
so it's like it's not.
You get good records.
Sometimes, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I get a lot of trash records too. I mean, I didn't even care. I got it. Rob, you'd appreciate this. Was like, you know, one of the local joints was doing like a pop-up dollar sale. I think they just had a collection come in, and they were like, most of this is trash. Like, we're just gonna put it out there. You know, most of the stuff's beat the hell up. You know, I got some good stuff in there too, but like, you know, sorry, goose attack outside. You know, came across just, you know, Sgt. Pepper or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you know, it's $1. I'll find it. Actually, I have so many Beatles records that I've bought for $1 because I was always like, I can sell this to some nerd for $5. Except I'm never, I haven't sold one, you know. But I was like, yeah, you know, everybody wants Sgt. Pepper, you know, whatever, it's fine. You know, it was kind of funny too because again, you'd appreciate this, and I kicked myself because typically I'm pretty good with this type of stuff, but I got confused, and so I just, you know, pulled out the disc just to make sure it wasn't completely like, you know, ripped in half or something like that. Yeah, I looked at the label and I was like, you know what? Like, I don't have this label variant. You know, it's like you got, you know, the rainbow capital, and then you got like the actual apple, and then you got, you know, the later capital, you know, all these different things. And I saw this one and I was like, you know what? Like, I don't have, again, you'll laugh. I was like, I don't have the Sgt. Pepper with the red apple. And the joke is there's only one record that the Beatles did that had the red fucking apple.
That's why I'm laughing.
And that's
It wasn't Sgt. Pepper.
Let It Be. So it was a Let It Be record in a Sgt. Pepper jacket. So, you know, but what are you going to do? Yeah, whatever. But that was what the joke was. I was like, oh, cool, label variant. And I was like, I didn't even look at the fucking label. So
that's a rabbit hole I will never go down as label variants. No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. But, I got some cool stuff. I always say, too, it's like that is the perfect time for me to get into, again, old artists that I've heard of and I had nothing of. So, like, again, a couple of those dollar ones I got were 2 records from Eric Burdon and the Animals. Like, I got nothing. Had nothing. And I was like, you know what? Like, if they're trash, they're trash. I'm out $1. I either spend $1 on a trashy record or I spend $1 on a trashy hooker. One's gonna make me feel bad. The other's gonna make me feel worse. Okay, so
and one will last longer than the other.
Not me.
Nice, Rob.
Oh man.
So tomorrow I gotta go to Hamilton, Ontario. Jason knows where that is.
I know where that is.
It's 45 minutes down the road for me. I got to go there to see a customer for work. And my second favorite record store anywhere is in Hamilton. And it's going out of business in 4 weeks. And he's having a going out of business sale. And I'm like,
how bittersweet.
Yeah. How long have they been? How long has that sale been going on? Are you picking up the scraps? Or are you there early enough to get the good stuff?
So it's already gone on for a month. But he's still been bringing new stuff in. He's doing record store day and everything. So, and he's going to continue to sell shit online after his brick and mortar store closes. But the first month, I think he did like 15% off. I don't know what it is now, 25 or 30 or something like that. But I'm curious to see what's there. Part of me wants to find some great stuff. Part of me hopes there's nothing because I really can't afford it.
So
we'll see what happens, dude.
Yeah, you could rationalize this quite easily. I'm supporting this guy. He's heading into retirement. If I don't do it, the guy's going to be on the streets.
That's right.
Well, of course, sorry to jump around here, but going into the comments from Bob, the conversation between Bob and Jason over there. I mean, Jack Hanna. I mean, a Columbus, Ohio legend.
I didn't know he was from Columbus.
Yeah, he was a Columbus Zoo director for like 15 years. So he's like director emeritus or some shit.
It's funny that you should mention that because my 8-year-old just discovered Steve Irwin yesterday.
Oh,
Crocodile Hunter.
I've been watching his son.
Oh yeah,
he's great. They're the same guy. They're the same. He's exactly the same. It's weird but amazing.
Yeah. Is he doing the same kind of thing then?
Absolutely,
same exact thing.
Yeah.
Oh
so, like it's weird, like how like everything is exactly the same. Yeah, he's awesome. He's great.
Dress is the same, sounds the same, looks the same, except he's what, maybe 17?
Oh, I think he's like he might be in his 20s now.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so because like there's a lot of women are going after him, if you know.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Thirst trapping on TikTok.
Let's see. He is 20 years old.
He's only 20. There you go.
Jesus.
Not quite.
You remember? I remember watching the Crocodile Hunter, and he was like a baby.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there's the classic. He was doing like the Michael Jackson and was like holding his baby over the crocodile.
Right.
Everybody was like, and they're like, it's an Australian thing. It's fine.
Yeah. And everyone's like, it's okay then.
Yeah. It's like, Michael Jackson could do it over a balcony. He can do it with a crocodile. Okay.
Right. Exactly. So now my son for the last day has been like, Daddy, do the crikey thing. Crikey. And son laughs.
I mean, talk about it, like just freak accident how Steve died. You know what I mean? Just on site, just getting completely fucked by a stingray. And
I mean, you can only tempt fate so many times, I think, right?
Well, what's interesting, right, is like yes, and it's like I wouldn't fuck with a stingray though, man. Like, that shit. And like you hear stories about like how those things work and like how he died. Like they deleted the video and destroyed it and all that kind of stuff. But like from what I've read, it's like, it's like
it's bad,
messy, like how the shit goes down.
Yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't mess with a fucking saltwater crocodile either, for that matter.
Yeah, but it's like you lose your leg, not your life.
Or the thing is like, Oh, crikey, it's the most poisonous steak in the world. Let me poke it with a stick.
Oh, yeah, you got the stick there. And, Rob, it's venomous, not poisonous. There's a difference.
What the fuck's the difference?
So poisonous is if, like, you bit, like a poisonous apple. You bit it, and then you die. Oh. Venomous is when something bites you, and then you die.
Well, holy shit, I learned something.
So venomous snakes, and then poisonous other, like, apples and shit.
Well, I wasn't planning on learning anything today. You've ruined my day.
So I think that's why they call it the poison dart frog, is because it only will mess with if you try to eat the frog.
Right.
Like the poison dart frog ain't gonna like shat on you. Well,
but the name implies it has poisonous darts.
What? You think there's a damn frog over there like eyeing up, like, you know, like,
I'm waiting for him to like spit out like
triple 20, like, you know.
Who knows? You never know.
Dumb bull.
Trevor says he's getting his money's worth tonight. Well,
look,
I mean, shit, Trevor, we can only promise 20 minutes of entertainment, and the rest is just us talking. So,
yeah.
Sam is going to be a little late joining us for those in the Walnut Gallery that are watching. I don't know. He's slightly delayed. He must be stuck in traffic or rescuing a kitten from a tree. I'm not sure. So,
yeah, he doesn't like creatures.
This is turning into a Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. God, I used to watch that when I was a kid. That, and you remember Lauren Green's New Wilderness?
Yes, Rob. Holy shit. That was the premiere show. Yeah, I still remember it.
There's some stuff. This is next level bullshit. Sorry, Rob, for doing this on your channel. Okay. But there's this guy. He's huge. Like, he had a TV show. He's got a YouTube channel. Like, he kind of became like one of the more modern day. Like, I hate.
Is he as huge as us on YouTube?
Well, easy, sir.
Okay. Put it into context.
But like, you know, like one of these modern day, like Steve Irwin type, you know, like I'm the animal guy, you know, I go and explore in the Amazon and like show you cool animals, and I'm an educator and I'm a good person because I like animals. And his name is, you might know him, his name is Coyote Peterson.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
He likes to get bit by really dangerous shit.
So that's his shtick, right? Like, that's one of his shticks, is that he will find all of the most painful animal bites or stings and will test it for what reason? For science?
For
so that people know?
For clicks.
For clicks. And here's my problem, is that and this is like a rant of all rants for me, but I apologize, is that anybody who knows anything about animals, Jason, I know you got several up there. Like,
he doesn't have a dog. He's got a bear.
If you know anything about animals, they attack when they feel cornered and anxious and scared and threatened.
Like me.
Like me. And it blows my mind how someone as famous as him and is like viewed as like an animal expert as him has a whole thing where his whole idea is, I'm going to put this living animal that I allegedly care so much about through as much anxiety and suffering as I can, only so that it bites or stings me, and then I look cool to all the fuckheads out there that watch me. And I'm like, you're a fraud, man. Like, this is so anti-animal, anti-living creature. This is messy. And it just drives me crazy. Because like people are like, oh, this is like, look at him get bit by a tarantula hawk, you know, and I'm like, what are we doing this for? So that, like, you know, if you ever got bit, that it hurts a little bit more than a bullet ant? What? I don't know. That gets me going, because again, like, he's positioned himself as like the animal lover. And then his whole shtick is like, I'm just going to put these animals in as much anxiety and corner them and threaten them as much as I can so that they attack me. And then I feel cool about it because I'm a fucking loser. Fuck you, Coyote. You're a piece of shit.
I'll raise a glass to that.
What a rant. Beautiful.
God.
You're right, though. I mean, that's indicative of what's wrong with, I hate to say it's what's wrong with this platform that we're on. It's all about clicks. It's all about attracting viewers. I mean, we do it through our raw talent, our great camera personality, and amazing vinyl records. That's why there's,
you know,
yeah.
That's, if I look at this, that's why there's 1,263 people watching right now. So.
Not bad.
It's a slow night for us then.
I don't think if we took all our live streams together and added them up over the course of the last 2 years, we'd be at 1,200 people. But, whatever. Martin is saying it's Red Fisher for us old folks. I don't know that reference. I don't know who Red Fisher is, but I'm going to guess some kind of wildlife. You know the other one I used to watch?
Marty
Remember, I can't remember what I had it and then it disappeared. There was another one I used to watch.
One of the guys that was more my generation was it Steve Corwin or Jeff Corwin? I mean Jeff Corwin. Actually, you look like him, Jason. You look like Jeff Corwin. Back in Zaboomafoo days. Did y'all watch Zaboomafoo?
I was aware of it, but I was
aware of it. But
about the lemur? That's first of all, that's the second lemur reference tonight, which by the way is too many.
I wonder how many more we can get in the next hour and a half.
Can we start the damn show, Rob? What do you
think? We can start the damn show. So,
all right. Okay.
To recap, for those watching, we are talking about songs of summer or spring or anything that's not winter, because all three of us are northward. Jason's much more northward. Alex slightly southward, but we're all where it's still really flipping cold.
Yeah.
So we thought we would talk about summery things, and if Sam is able to join us at some point in the evening, he will. So it could be an album that is about summer. It could be a song that's about summer. It could be an album that you associate with summer. It could be an album that you love because you got laid listening to it in the summer. Whatever you want. So
I all of a sudden have no records.
So that's what we're talking about. It was Alex's idea. And I really wish I had All Summer Long by Kid Rock. Is a saying that no one has ever said in the history of humanity, but I just said it. So,
well,
two lemurs and two Kid Rock references. That's special.
Well, we're still on the on the ladder there, but
true.
Well, no, and I will say too, like I said that, whenever I was like, hey, here's an idea. It was about 68 degrees, sunny, corner turning. Ohio got dollywopped with more tornadoes yesterday. And today it was like 44 degrees and cold and windy. So we're feeling real summery today for sure.
Yep. I'm with you. So we're going to go around the horn and share some summery stuff. I'm going to do something absolutely crazy, and I'm going to go first for a change.
Look at you. Yes.
Why? You stole all mine. That's why.
No. I have a big stack here, and I'm going to maybe do a couple at a time. The first one is only a 45, and it's not the first time I've showed it this week, but it's the summariest of all the summer things. Jason knows that I'm going to show, and I got to show it.
Yeah.
Which I showed in my Toronto video. I mean, this is the anthem of my beloved Toronto Blue Jays. And what says spring more than baseball?
You're totally
nothing.
Absolutely
right. Nothing. This is all. I mean, it's about going to see. Essentially, it's about going to see a Jays game back in the 80s when they used to play by the lake in Toronto. And I think of it because it's baseball and it's summer, and I listened to this a bazillion times when I was a kid. And summeriest of all summer things. That was kind of more of a half-assed attempt than anything else, only because it was still sitting on my stereo. I haven't put it away yet. I'm going to show Alex's favorite record. I like to call it the cucumber record because it really looks like he's holding a cucumber.
That's I love that. That's a great album, man.
I mean, what says summer like hot August night?
What tracks are on that one that are familiar? The hits.
The whole D side.
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Solitary Man, Cherry Cherry, Sweet Caroline, Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, Song Sung Blue, Cracklin' Rosie, Holly Holy, I Am I Said, Suleiman.
Suleiman. Right. Suleiman.
So, I mean.
Oh, I just love that shit so much. God damn, it got me going, man. Oh,
I need to get a Neil Diamond.
So, I mean, as you could tell, it's from the 70s, right? And this was, where was this? Wasn't this like the Hollywood Bowl or the.
Yep.
Something like that.
Something
like that. The Greek Theater in Los Angeles. There you go.
It was the Greek. I was going to say that. Damn.
Greek Theater. I mean, Neil Diamond is, I call him Neil fucking Diamond because he's that goddamn good.
Yes, sir.
Right? And I have had the privilege to see this man in concert, and it was one of the best goddamn concerts I've ever seen. I saw him about probably around 2014, maybe. And he was like 70 whatever years old. He came out with his sequin shirt on, and that 7-year-old man just rocked the roof off the place. That's
pretty cool.
I always thought so. Rob, you'll appreciate this. Like, you know, sometimes he gets like he always gets like a bad rap. You know what I mean? But I'm saying specifically, I think a lot of people looked at him in his involvement in Presence with the Last Waltz as being like almost out of place.
Right.
You know what I mean? But my thing is like, I think
Van Morrison is out of place on the Last Waltz.
I could see that too. But my thing is, I just think Neil did the wrong damn song.
I do too.
Like, what you did like Dry Your Eyes?
Something like that.
You know what I mean? And I was like, sir, give us Suleiman. Suleiman. You know, like,
or give us something like Cracklin' Rosie.
Oh, or dude, if he did Brother Loves Traveling Salvation Show,
can you imagine?
I would have creamed in the shorts. Like, it would have been just unreal.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Yeah, he
did the same shorts.
I don't want to be in the same shorts when that's happening. But so Hot August Night. I mean, the name says it, but Neil Diamond putting on the friggin' concert of his life at the Greek Theater in LA. Hot August Night. I mean,
I love it.
It's amazing.
So good.
I listen to it. I listen to it in the winter. I mean, I listen to it anytime, but it's just.
You know, that record came up when we were doing like the Guilty Pleasures one, you know what I mean? And like the thing is, that album, it fucking slams. That's a rockin', like, I'm not gonna say it's like a heavy album, but like it freaking rocks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's also a volume 2, I think.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I'm gonna Google that. Whoever wants to go in that. Oh, let me do a couple of comments here. Hold on.
Yeah, I need some more.
Martin says, Lovin' Spoonful, Summer in the City. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, good call.
Okay, Blue Jays, that was sung but barely credited to Keith Hampshire. Yes, it's Keith Hampshire and the Bat Boys.
And the Bat Boys.
I believe that's what it says. This, by the way, was the first record I ever owned. I got this when I was like 5. Yeah, Keith Hampshire and the Bat Boys.
Good double pinkies there. Double pinkies for the PBR.
Neil Diamond was plugged in.
Plugging his album.
Neil Diamond was plugging his album produced by Robbie Robertson. Yeah. But still not a great song choice.
Oh.
Extended version of Hot August Night is fabulous. Didn't know it's extended. I wonder if anything that's on that is on the volume 2 that I believe exists on vinyl.
Ooh.
Blister in the Sun by Violent Femmes. Yes.
Nice choice.
I think there's even a third Hot August Night. Well, I'm going to look at that while one of you guys go. Whoever wants.
Okay, I'm taking it from the perspective that Rob said earlier, where it's an album that makes you think of summer. This is kind of somewhat of a throwback to one of my very early videos. You know, my whole pantheon of, set videos. When I talked about time of day records, like there's certain things you listen to at certain points of the day, and there's certain things that I listen to at certain times of the year. That's half true. I'll listen to anything, like Rob said, like at any point of the year. But there's some artists that are definitely ones that I enjoy when the summer's coming on. And one of the first one I thought of right out of the gate when you had this idea, Alex, is Mr. Marley.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Good one.
Yeah. So this is incredible. This is like a Canadian reissue of something that was originally released in '84. I was surprised when I was looking into this. This is number 46, then the 48 on if you care about Rolling Stone rankings of the top 500 albums of all time, and it's a comp album.
Yeah.
But and I remember talking about this before, and I've seen other people talk about it too, about like some comp albums suck, some are really good. And this is one of the ones that people think are like, this is a really good comp album.
Great.
This is fantastic. Now, regrettably, I don't own anything else by Bob Marley. I knew this because when I wanted to get into him, I was back in the Napster LimeWire days. I pretty much just burnt this to a CD, which I still have upstairs, all written on, marker all over the CD as to what's what. But anyway, legend Bob Marley. All the big hits are on here, right? I would say that Could You Be Loved is probably one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
They're all freaking so good, though. Like the Exodus is so good. I want to buy a couple studio albums for sure.
Movement of your people.
Yeah, exactly. So this is everything. Like from his whole career, basically from 72 up until his death, and I think he died in like early 80s, 81, cancer. I haven't seen the biopic yet. I don't know if it's any good or not. I'm kind of nervous. I also am really hesitant to like learn about an artist through a biopic because, that usually there's a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of, additional drama that may not be, factual. Anyway, Bob Marley, the Legend album. If
you want to learn Bob Marley and you want to know what studio albums, Curtis over at Young LP Lovers is the Bob Marley expert.
Oh, is he? Oh,
holy shit! Yes, okay. He's got a bunch of Bob Marley videos.
Cool. All right, I'll check that out. I like that guy on his channel.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so this was a fantastic album choice to pick up when I finally found it for dirt cheap. It plays sweet. It's like almost minty clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Bob Marley. Yeah, it's a summertime kind of song.
It's funny. It's like I couldn't imagine playing that record in like the middle of winter.
Yeah, I just don't get the vibe, right? But on a sunny day, if you're driving and that Bob Marley's playing, life's pretty good.
I'd say, yeah. So for me, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking less along the lines of like, oh, what's like a summer song or less along sort of the more, I don't know, literal sort of summer type things, but more thinking about, does my taste in music change and what I want to listen to in terms of the type of music change when we get into summer months, whatever, right? Like when the windows are open, when the sun doesn't go down until 9 p.m., like that type of stuff, right? And I started thinking of the type of music and what I listen to, and it's like I don't listen to a ton of like prog or like metal or like that, a lot of that stuff, or even like if Sam was here, when Sam comes, like he might have some like folkier stuff that he talks about of like, oh, like maybe folkier, leading more country he might talk about. But for me, I'm like, when I listen to folk music, I think specifically like the fall and winter, right? I think of like the snowy cabin, and that's when I want to listen to Joni, right? Like, so that's kind of my way of going into it. And my first pick, because I'm here joined by my two favorite Canadians, I mean, Jesus, I wanted to go with a Canadian legend. Now, whether you should say he's a legend or not, I don't know. But to me, I mean, there's an argument to be made that this is one of the most important, one of the most impressive, the best, if we say it would go, if we go that far, guitar players in Canadian history. And what I'm getting at is like when the windows are up or down, the sun's coming through. I love a live album, and I love jamming, and I love long songs, and I love the blues, and I love all this stuff. So the first record I pulled, what I want to listen to during the summer, is from Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush.
I almost pulled the new one I just got.
Oh man. So this was a Record Store Day release from several years ago. So this is Real Live Volume 1. This was released in 2000 or recorded, I guess, in 2001. It might have been in Canada too, if I'm not mistaken. But Frank Marino is with Mahogany Rush. He put out a bunch of records. He was always sort of compared to like a more modern day Jimi Hendrix. Like, I get it, right? Like you hear it and you're like, I could see that. But I don't know. I never felt like, I always felt those comparisons were too lazy. Like it takes away from all the great things that he does. For me, I'm like, damn, when I think of a summer or like get into the warmer months, man, I think of like, give me a double live record of just ripping guitar playing, bluesy, hard rock. He opens up with his rendition of Voodoo Child on here. There's so much good stuff. He's just absolutely ripping this entire record, and I love it. So yeah, again, just because of YouTube here, or the great Robin Jason, I had to go a Canadian legend for me. And I share the story too. I had tickets to see him a couple years ago, and he was playing at a local place that holds probably, I think, like 700-800 people. And then he had some kind of I think, horrible health issue, his back or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I think he retired from touring, and this was he had to cancel the show. And I didn't get a chance to see him, but man, just an absolute legend. Just ripping on that SG too for you Gibsonites out there. Man, what a look, what a style. And this it just rips, man. Put this on a Friday, a hot Friday night or a hot Saturday night in August. Dunzo, man. Dunzo.
A good pick. What are we saying here? We got Joe stopping in to say hi.
Hey, Joe.
And he said in a previous comment he's wearing his Speedo and wondered if that was okay. And I said it was fine as long as we don't have to see it.
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself, Rob. Okay.
Martin saying Summer Days by the Partridge Family. I don't know that one. Then a bunch of people saying hi to each other.
That did remind me, though, Martin, I didn't pull this record. And hopefully I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, because I didn't think of it in terms of summer songs. Everything I pulled is a record that just makes me want to play it. But one of the best summer songs of all time, and this might be my favorite song from this band, is Summer Nights from Van Halen. I love that song, and man, does that just get me going. I hope did I steal any thunder from you, Rob?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, wait a minute. That, I got to say, John, you're my new best friend. If you're talking about the Goonies, I'm all in, and I'm writing that down.
Well, okay, yes. But he's talking about the Ataris when they did the cover of Boys of Summer from your boy Don Henley, who I know you love so much.
The album is called So Long Astoria, which is a reference to the Goonies movie.
Right. I just want to make light of the Goonies.
Oh, all right. I love the Goonies. What a great movie.
A great movie.
Speaking of Boys of Summer, you guys heard the Don Henley controversy this week? It's been proven that he's been lip syncing at Eagles concerts.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there's an incredible channel, Phil from Wings of Pegasus, where he does a lot of vocal analyzing, and he's taken audio from two different Eagles concerts a year apart, and they've taken the audio from Desperado, and the vocal tracks match up exactly when you look at the wavelength. So Henley's lip syncing, which doesn't surprise me because Henley is an asshole piece of shit.
Jeez.
Tell me what I really think, right?
Lighthouse. I have a great Lighthouse live album. Do you have that? I was going to pull that, and I knew Rob would, so I just...
I'll let you talk about it.
Well, I don't have it with me. I don't know it well enough, so I didn't I know a couple songs, but...
You were saying you have a good... Is it Lighthouse Live you've got?
Yeah. I found that, in the original shrink, totally, just barely holding on plastic. It was such a wicked find. $10. What an amazing live album. I didn't know anything about Lighthouse, but it was cool. This is an old album in the shrink. Give it a shot. Brought it home. It was a total win.
Yep. The drummer used to live in the city that I live in. Doesn't anymore, but he used to. Did that. Poisoning Pigeons in the Park. That's a great name for an album. I wasn't included in favorite Canadian, so I can't see.
Well,
Lakeside Park by Rush.
That's a good song.
What's the last one here? Summertime Blues, Eddie Cochran. Yeah, that's a fantastic song. Okay, I'm going to go next. This is an album I have shown a million times, but for me, there is no more summer record for me than now. I listen to this album year round. It is one of the top 10 records I listen to the most. And after 30 years of listening to it, which would mean it's mid-90s, I still, every single time I listen to it, it brings me back to the summer that I heard it for the very first time, which was a very important summer for a lot of reasons as a 16-year-old boy, if you know what I'm saying.
Baby girl.
And there was a certain someone that introduced me to this band and this album. So it is forever tied to the most memorable summer that ever was. And Sam would appreciate that.
I was okay. Sorry.
So
yeah.
There's nothing summer about this, but summer of 95 or whatever it was when it came out was when I bought this because I was introduced to it by my girlfriend. And I listened to this thing multiple times a day, every single day for that entire summer. And there were some milestones that happened with this album. So
Jesus.
There isn't a more summertime album for me than What's the Story, Morning Glory.
But during what song, Rob?
Well,
when was the milestone? When did the milestone reach its peak?
Seconds of that album did it happen?
Yeah,
I was probably a little.
Were you like was it faster than a cannonball, Rob?
It probably was.
It probably was. What's the faster than a hot dog down a hallway, or what's the one?
Yeah, that's about it. Yes. But it's all serious aside. It's just not just for that, but the whole. It just makes me think of that entire summer and all the other things that happened that summer, and things we did, and whatever. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
Now I think about it. I don't think you would know more than me. Champagne Supernova, I don't think is like a sex reference, but it could be.
You know, it's interesting because I used to think that the majority of that entire album was just nonsensical. It's just Noel putting words together that just happen to have the right cadence and whatever. But I have since watched a video. There's a guy has a YouTube channel, James Hargrave, and he's like the biggest biggest Oasis fan there is. And he's actually dissected this album track by track. And he talks about what every single song is about and how it relates to what Noel was going through prior to writing this album. And it's a long video, and I just discovered it the other day. I haven't got through to the end yet because I think it's like an hour and a half long. So I'm not sure what Champagne Supernova is about yet, but it turns out this entire album is an entire story of about a year of Noel's life, and it's actually pretty fascinating.
Wow. I was thinking of the classic if you remember the classic duo group, LMFAO, the party rock anthem people.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like their second, Sexy and I Know It was the second big hit, but they had a semi-big hit with the song Champagne Showers.
Yes.
Which is very much an After Dark type of, song.
Yeah.
But after Champagne Showers, I'm like, well, Champagne Supernova, you could kind of see, like the whole sort of situation.
There could be some innuendo.
Watch your mouth, Jason.
I'm just gonna Google see if the internet knows what it's. I'm gonna finish watching James Hargrave's video, but I'm gonna see if what they say here. Yeah, that's too long of a read. Yeah. We'll update you guys next week. How's that?
I love it.
Let's see here. Where were we? Summertime Blues. We did that. Hey, Mr. Record Hound. All right. Mungo Jerry in the summertime. Bunch of people saying hi. Alex, you're about as subtle as a bull in a china shop.
Sir. You mess with the bull, you get the horns, Richard. Be careful over there, all right?
I think that your tact is well deserved.
Thank you.
Innuendo is an Italian suppository. Yeah, exactly. All right, Alex, what do you got for us?
Is it me or is it Jason?
Oh, sorry, it's Jason. My bad.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Jason.
All right, another comp. Actually, on my list here, I got 3 comps. I'm not a big comp guy, but it came to me cheap. It's actually not a great copy of it. It's pretty crackly, but it is an original Canadian. This is 1976. This is, for those audiophiles out there, mastered by Wally Trogat. It actually sounds good if it wasn't so crackly. And yeah, I know, Alex. Thank you. This is a best of taken from their first 6 albums, 2 of which I don't have yet, but I have the ones I really want. And these songs represent summer to me because this is what people would play on a guitar around a fire. Well, a couple of them would be. And so I always think of summer when I think of this album, or well, songs on this album, the artist in general I can listen to at any time of year, as I'm sure Rob would agree. And that is the great Canadian/American, The Band. So,
yeah.
Like, my God, like, The Weight. If you're not like singing The Weight with a bunch of drunk people all together, if you haven't done that in life, have you lived? It's so good. Like, there's so many great friggin' songs on this. Like, you know, the 2 I don't have, Rob. I think you probably do. You have everything, Rob, by the band?
Of course.
Okay,
and
probably
then
multiple copies. Yes, I don't have Cahoots. I don't have Cahoots or Northern Lights, Southern Cross, but the rest I have, and the rest are the ones that I'm more familiar with anyway. But yeah, so the night they drove Old Dixie down, Stage Fright's a huge one for me. The Shape I'm In is a huge one for me. Yep. But when I think of The Weight, I think of, you know, people playing guitar, singing, and everyone kind of fudging the lyrics because no one really knows what they're saying. But The Band is a very big summer band for me.
God, what a pick, Jason. I was actually thinking earlier today when I was thinking about, like, records to pull. For some reason, I didn't pull Band, but for some reason today when I was thinking about like songs that just like, you know, make me want to sit on the patio and putz around or whatever, I had Up on Cripple Creek, like Up on Cripple Creek,
that's another
in my head the whole time. I was like, Up on Cripple Creek.
That was the first song that got me hooked as a teenager.
Oh man, yeah.
It's even got a picture of them playing around the fire, for God's sake. Yep. Come on.
So Jason, quick, and I've mentioned this on one of my videos in the past, but speaking of The Weight, and this is incredibly Canadian, I was at a Bryan Adams concert in Hamilton, and he comes out for the encore, and he goes, "I got a couple friends with me. I hope you don't mind if they come out and play." God. And out walks Randy Bachman and Kim Mitchell, and the 3 of them play The Weight.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Dude, Rob, what a wicked experience.
Fuck yeah.
Just grab creams and maple syrup, man.
I fucking did. Absolutely.
Oh man. What a pick, Jason. Well, a couple different ways I can go here. I pulled a lot. But just because it's here. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you two can relate, but like I wish there was like a genre, because this is a band that I would define when people are like, okay, that classic band, like, how would you define them? And people are like, oh man, they're like, you know, they're rock, hard rock, but you're talking late 60s, you know. There's like an element of like sloppiness to them, but in like a good way. There's like this element of like just stank to them, but in a good way. And to me, I'm like, that band is just good old fashioned drunken ass bar rock and roll. And like, to me, that's summer, right? Like, it is just summer drunken rock and roll. I love this band. Obviously, I think like the stories of what happened afterwards, what everybody pays attention to, and this is not like an unknown band, but to me, like, this is the type of music I just think about. Again, it's just good old fashioned drunken rock and roll. That's the Faces. I love listening to the Faces, and I always want to show this record too. This record took me a long time to find. I don't think the Faces catalog ever got a reissue. And so I think everything is just that early Warner Brothers stuff. But this took a long time. And of course, I just think of the song Ooh La La. I mean, what a perfect just summer song. But whether it's this or Long Player or a nod, you know, what is it? Not as good as a nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse. all that's, I just think of just good old fashioned drunken rock and roll. And again, off of this record, you got Ooh La La, which is just a perfect song, one of the best songs I think of all time. But then you think of songs like Stay With Me and all these other big hits that I just, to me, it just bleeds summer rock and roll, man. So yeah, I listen to a lot of Faces around this time of year, and yeah, let me try to get this little guy. Let me get this guy twerking if I can here. Is he twerking a bit? He's not. I'm trying. Never mind. I was trying to get him to twerk a little bit. He wasn't though. So yeah.
Speaking of summertime, I'm drinking an ice cap from Tim Hortons. Speaking of summertime,
Jesus, Mr.
Out there looking like a sorority girl, Rob.
I drink them every day, man.
And if you know me, I can say that.
Yeah. I do know you.
That's awesome.
Not like Sam knows you, but
Well,
the good
what's that, Jason?
Album. I just picked up that Good as a Wink album.
Oh, it's a great record, man. But I mean, it's just like going down to your local pub and watching the rock and roll band, and that's not an insult. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there was a band that like.
That's how I described the Bob Seger in my video. It's like, this is a band that you would just show up at a dive bar and they would just be killing it. And everyone would just be loving
ripping.
It.
Yeah.
Richard, Tim Hortons. Yeah.
Summer Breeze by Seals and Croft. Yes.
Oh, listen, Joe. People give Jay Ferguson shit on that because Jay Ferguson came from Spirit. A lot of people don't know he was in Spirit and was one of the main songwriters there. And then in that was like mid-later 70s, huge hit. What was it? Sha la 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 la, my lady in the sun with your dress undone, baby girl. I love Thunder Island. That is one of my favorite pop tunes ever. I'm all in on that.
I wrote it down, Joe. I'll check it out. Don't have a clue what it is.
I agree with Wayne. The cover of the band's greatest hits is terrible. And here's the other thing, too, right?
They could have done a little better.
For a band as amazing as the band was, they have not received a proper greatest hits package in my mind. That's it right there. There's an anthology, same thing. But
music from Big Pink, iconic cover by Joni, right? Or is it Joan or Bob, right?
Bob.
And then we got like the Brown album cover, which I think is a great shot.
Classic, yeah.
Right? It's a classic band. Is that Cahoots? Is that what that one is, Rob?
Yep, that's Cahoots.
Yeah, like another beautiful image.
And the fire is Northern Lights, Southern Cross. The only one that sucks as a studio album for the cover is Islands. It's pretty shitty, but
and this is like they should have did better than that.
They should put out a remastered package of the greatest hits and repackage it and make it like a 2 LP 180 gram gatefold. No, there's the band anthology, which is kind of that, but nothing that's been done. Not a proper greatest hits package in my mind.
Yeah.
Summer in the City, Love and Spoonful. Yes.
Yeah. Someone said that before, and that's funny because the few records that I have from my parents, there was like this old like K-Tel kind of comp, and that song and House of the Rising Sun are on that, and those two tracks, like there's probably no groove left. I would just play those two tracks over and over again. I don't know anything about lifting needles. I just slide it along the record.
Just literally drop the needle.
Yeah, exactly.
I love what Record Hound says here. Riverboat Fantasy, Hot Hot Papa, Do the Bearcat. Who hasn't partied to David Wilcox? You don't know David Wilcox?
I know that name, Rob, but who the hell is that?
Oh my God, he's a Canadian legend, man.
Yeah,
Alex, you know David Wilcox, Do the Bearcat, right?
I don't know David Wilcox, no.
Oh my. Okay, so this is my nerdiness. So David Wilcox, I don't know if he's Canadian, that's all I can tell you. 70s, 80s, great drunken party rock. Just Riverboat Fantasy is amazing. Do the Bearcat do me a favor, both of you, when we're done tonight, just go look up Do the Bearcat by David Wilcox. You'll find that funny later, trust me.
I find it funny now.
Just David Wilcox is fucking amazing. I don't know anything by him, and I wish I did. Singing Neil Young songs off the golf course along the beach in the 70s. Yeah, of course. Spirit like the horseman.
That's the one. He was. Jay Ferguson was the horse. Okay.
Carly, I like it because you're always usually on my side, but we're going to skip Spirit because that was a terrible album and a terrible movie. See, Joe agrees. And holy shit, go get some David Wilcox.
He's not here, but doesn't Sam love? Wait, no, that was that your guilty pleasure pick? One of them?
Nope.
Was it Sam? Didn't someone show that for their guilty pleasure pick a couple weeks ago?
I don't remember if they did or not. Somebody may have mentioned it in the Walnut Gallery, but David Wilcox. See, that's Joe and I are on the same page here.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Here we go. Here's what Joe's record down saying. David Wilcox started as a guitarist for Ian and Sylvia. I didn't know that. Okay. Ian and Sylvia Tyson. So I didn't know that. Yeah. Look up his first studio album, Out of the Woods, 1980. Yes. You
all grew up with the legal requirements of the Canadian Broadcast Company, right? So we don't know this stuff down here.
I predate that a little. I'm a little bit before the CanCon requirements, but okay. So
lay it on us here. What do you got? Show us a whole bunch. Whip it out, Rob.
What band do I always talk about? And everyone's going to, oh, fuck, he's going to talk about them again. Yes, I'm going to talk about them again. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to talk.
The Blodio.
Blue Rodeo lost.
Okay.
We got our watch count just went down.
I know, right? So but here's why.
John,
so this is the album Lost Together. The title track off of here, Lost Together, is one of their greatest songs. They close every single concert with this song. Always have since about 2010. This has closed the encore at every single show, and they always bring the opener on with them to do the song, and it's great sing along and whatever. And why I associate this with summer, even though I listen to this album year round, every summer they do a show at the Molson Amphitheater, which is now called the Budweiser Stage. It is an open air amphitheater on an island, which used to be Ontario Place, right on the shore of Lake Ontario. It's an outdoor pavilion. The stage faces out to the lake. The audience has their back to the lake. It seats about 10,000 people. And they're the band that has played that venue more than anyone else in the history of the venue. And they play every single summer, end of July, beginning of August. And I went to that show every year for about 15 years. And I have so many fond memories of it's the last song of the night. It's 11 o'clock at night and everyone's on their feet and everyone's singing Lost Together. It's a song that every single Canadian knows. And I have seen them do this with so many people at that venue. One year, Steve Earle was performing with them. Another year, Chris Christopherson was performing it with them. And it's just something about that experience of being on the shore of Lake Ontario in this outdoor amphitheater and 10,000 people are singing this, what for us is almost a cultural anthem. I mean, that is such a poignant summer memory. And I have so many of them because I've seen them at that venue so many times that when I hear Lost Together, it feels like a 10,000 person campfire is literally what it feels like. It's one of the coolest, concert experiences that words just don't do justice. So no more Blue Rodeo tonight, folks. I promise.
No, I love that, man.
That is great though, Rob. That is pretty cool. I didn't know that they closed all the shows out with that. Hasn't Hit Me Yet is a pretty impactful song.
That's the other big sing-along song. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's right, John. John's got some good comments there.
All right. If you love David Wilcox so much, why don't you marry him? Because I'm already married. And she's she, and I'm not into
only reason.
I don't have any U2 tonight, John. Sorry. Late 70s, snorting whiskey, drinking cocaine. Pat Travers.
Oh man, yeah, that's a banger.
Alex, did you say Blodio?
It has nothing to do with the band. It's like combining Blue Rodeo, so Blodio, like Blue Rodeo. I get it. Yeah. Thank you.
I get it. John saying Blue Rodeo is fantastic summer band.
Is that your alter ego over there, Rob?
the Molson Amphitheater. There you go. Out in the middle of Lake Ontario. Different song. I mentioned that in my Toronto video last week.
Uh-huh.
Joe's got a bolt. Have a great show. Blue Rodeo is awesome. And seriously, you two others, go get yourself some David Wilcox. Downtown came uptown for you. You got it, Joe.
Oh, my God. That's the line.
You know it? There you go.
Wow.
All right, Jason, what do you got?
Oh, okay. So the first thing I showed the Marley was one of the two that I knew I was going to show, and the two artists that I always associate with. Okay, summer's coming. I'm playing this music. Unfortunately, I don't have it on vinyl. I have it on CD, but whatever. This is from 1992. This is their debut album. It's a long album. It's like over 70 minutes. There's a lot of stuff on it. They didn't even get popular until their self-titled album came out in 96, which Alex, figure this out. 1996, their self-titled comes out 2 months after the lead singer dies.
Oh. Wow.
This for me is summertime music. I don't listen to Sublime unless it's warm and sunny out. Just like Marley, those two bands, artists are summertime music for me. And this is like I burnt, again, thank you LimeWire, thank you Napster. I burnt this. I burnt their self-titled, and they're still upstairs in a friggin' one of those stupid carrying cases that you had in your vehicle. And but I ended up buying this for real. Incidentally, on the burnt version of this, there's a separate track that's not on this. That's like my favorite song. But anyways, at the end of the day, interesting story behind this band. Like the lead singer was, some people called him a genius, some people called him an asshole. Truth, I'm sure, lies somewhere in between.
He could be a genius asshole.
The coolest thing is that this guy, or this band rather, and the buddy that introduced me, Kevin, he's not watching, but the buddy that introduced me to this band when he first did, and this is way before internet knowledge and shit like that, said like this band would go around and play parties. Like that's how they became like a thing. They would play parties. They would go to people's backyards, like pools. They don't have water in it. They don't set up in the pool. They play like actual house parties in LA and Long Beach, that whole area there. And that's how they gained ground and traction. They would just play house parties and do other kinds of gigs and stuff too. But they put the time in a very rough way, got real big, real fast. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. They didn't get real big, real fast. But the bigger they got, the more drug dependent and, whatever else the guy was on kind of entered the picture. And then, obviously he succumbed to all the illnesses that are associated with that.
Heroin addiction, right? Or heroin overdose?
Yeah. So he, Bradley Nowell was his name. I've seen a couple documentaries on them, and again, some point to him being just like a total into himself kind of guy. Other people kind of sort of steer the narrative towards, the guy was a genius. But at the end of the day, like not typically music that I would gravitate towards, like, but they kind of sample so many different styles of genres like thrash and ska and things that I would never buy. But this somehow blends everything together nicely. Sublime, 40 Ounces of Freedom. This is their debut album. Their other self-titled one is much more popular, but this one is a great pickup.
And his son is now playing with them, right? Doesn't he do?
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
That's I think cool. They still play together, but his son does his stuff.
I also like the fact that his dog was like a central part of the band. Like he's got like dog barking on songs and like the dog's referenced in songs and things like that. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, that's Jason. I gotta tell you, I was not anticipating that from you tonight.
I love it, man. It's about that time of year where I'll start playing Sublime now.
Yeah.
Oh, incidentally, sorry. One more thing about this. Why I'm really excited right now about this, because I was looking up the date of the release and stuff before the live stream. I didn't know this, but my favorite song on this album, one of my favorite songs, is there's actually 3 or 4 on this that are all covers. I didn't know. I'm just learning as I go here. But one of my favorite songs is a cover by the Grateful Dead. I wish Glenn was here because he's pretty, well versed in the Dead. Scarlet Begonias. Have you ever heard of that song?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait when we're done here tonight. I'm going to stream their version of it. But Scarlet Begonias is just, anyway, great stuff.
That's awesome. I love that. All right, well, I will go. Let's go really obvious here, because I was talking to somebody recently about how in the VC there is like Jason, you can relate to this. Like,
yep.
There are like certain bands or certain styles of music that are like frowned upon, right? Like, if you like X, then like you suck, like, like if you like this band or this artist or this genre of music, like you're less than, right? Because the vinyl community is not about the music that you like. It's like, it's how much it's like, if you can buy these records for $1, then it's not good music, right? Like that is sort of the purpose of this.
Hold on a minute. Are you trying to say that there's snobbery in the vinyl community?
Rob, I didn't say it.
It's hard to believe.
Next, you're going to tell me that Don Henley lip syncs.
Sir. Well, one of the things I was talking to somebody recently about is like how, and I've talked about it to you, Rob, before too, and I'm going to do a video on it. Lord knows I need the ideas. Is like, why do people hate AOR? Like, the late 70s, early 80s, these bands were all over the radio, and they still are in like classic rock radio. And like, I don't remember the last time I saw anybody on YouTube show a Foreigner record or show a record by the Babies, or they never show, I don't necessarily believe that this band is like AOR, but like, people don't show Styx records. They don't show Journey records with Steve Perry. Like, it's like there's like this like, oh, we don't want to show any of that. And this is a band that I guess falls into that because their first record was a greatest hits album, one of the best debuts of all time. You probably know where I'm going. And their next two are great too, I think. But to me, there is nothing like, when I think about summertime, driving around out by the pool that I don't have, sometimes it's like you just want some AOR. You want some FM rock and roll that just makes you feel good. It's happy. It makes you feel good. And I don't think there's a better band and a better album that really just encompasses that whole feeling than Boston debut. I mean, it's just, I think of like, you got More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, but to me, like Foreplay Long Time, that's like a perfect summer song, man. Don't Look Back came out a couple years later. I thought this was great too, right? He ran into an issue now. Also, Tom Scholz is from the greater Toledo, Ohio area. He's from Ottawa Hills. He went off to MIT. Tom Scholz wrote and like recorded that whole debut record while he was a student in his basement at MIT. Crazy. Crazy story. But to me, I'm like, this is great. And yeah, this one not so much, but I do think it's a strong record. I do like Third Stage is great too. But like, man, yeah, you hear these songs every damn day on the radio. What a cover though that is, huh?
That is an iconic cover. I would buy that simply for the album cover art.
Just amazing, right? But it's like, it's so funny. Like, More Than a Feeling, probably tired of hearing about it. Peace of Mind, tired of hearing about it. I mean, that side A is More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, Foreplay Long Time. Shit. The second side, Rock and Roll Band, All the Time. Smoking, All the Time. Hitch a Ride, and that was kind of the deeper cut, whatever, right? Something About You, No One Knows About. Let Me Take You Home Tonight. It's a great song too. But like, I would put like I would listen to Foreigner during this time. I want all that radio pop, accessible, friendly shit all the time when I'm out hanging by the pool, sucking on chili dogs, doing the whole thing. Sam's not here, so someone's got to be sucking on these chili dogs. And man, I am unapologetically, this is a perfect record. Just amazing. I just love it, man. So yeah, that type of shit during the summertime, give me all that trash, man.
I agree with you 1,000%. And there's one album by another band that I equate to that album because they're, in my mind, they're exactly the same for all those reasons. And you know what album that is.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, yeah, I can see that.
Right? I like them for exactly what you said. Screw the people that say you can't like
that.
Piss on them.
You know what's funny? I'm gonna use this a moment because I'm on your channel, Rob.
Sure.
It's amazing to me how many people like hate that type of music or shit on that type of music because it's radio friendly.
Yep.
How dare you have a radio hit?
Right.
But Rob at Northern Revolutions and every other YouTube channel be blowing the Beatles every day.
Yep.
It's true. It's true.
Sir.
Sir.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate you.
Hey, listen, man, I agree about that. That elitist, toxic segment, but I just choose not to participate in their bullshit.
Yeah, let's do a video about it, Rob.
No,
that's going to get some traction.
I'm just going to mind my own business and stay in my own lane.
I'm here for the hoagies, man.
Let's see here. Sublime, such a good summer pick. Yes. Oh, I missed Richard's comment. Our high school summer party album was always the Tubes. Completion backwards principle. Yes.
We were talking about them the other day, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Stream idea. Top 10 favorite. That is a great topic.
1000%. I was going to do a video. Like, we don't, there's so many of those bands, right? And you could like, yeah, AOR is like one of those genres, like all genres, that you could infuse other, you could throw like yacht rock in there, right? Like, no one wants to talk about Pablo Cruz, right? Like that type of stuff. I'm into it. Richard, that should be your first video when you start a YouTube channel, my brother.
Should be. Look at these two guys I'm on with. They were in the gallery, and now look at now. They're mega YouTube stars.
We're sitting here regretting our decisions.
I feel small in their presence. So. Hot fun in the summertime. Sly and the Family Stone. Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're talking summertime music.
We were depending on Samwise for this.
We were going to rely on Sam, but since Sam's not here,
yeah,
summer days, summer nights, endless summer. I mean, there isn't a band that's more sort of synonymous with summer than the Beach Boys. That's especially the early '60s stuff, right?
Oh my god, that's one of my favorite parts in one of my favorite like movies. I don't know if either of you have seen it, but I think Love and Mercy.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, have you ever seen it? It used to be on Prime, or yeah, if you're like for free, you could stream it. John Cusack, Elizabeth Banks, like it's kind of Beach Boys, Brian Wilson, Pet Sound story, but
Elizabeth Banks,
sir. But really, not only does it highlight that era, but really, really highlights sort of the mental health challenges that were going on with Brian at the time, and like just. It's a beautiful movie to me. I mean, the
guy that steals that movie is Paul. What's his name? That plays
Paul
the
Giamatti
younger
as Dr. Landy. Yeah.
No, Paul. What's his name? That plays the younger Brian Wilson.
It's not Paul. It's
I thought it was Paul.
Damn it, that's gonna drive me crazy.
Yes.
I can't remember his name. Yeah, but
he's amazing.
He's great. Yeah, but Jason, you got to watch that movie, my friend. You will be a Beach Boys convert overnight just watching that movie. I kid you not.
I mean, I love the Beach Boys. I mean, not like Sam loves the Beach Boys, and I dare not speak of the Beach Boys when Sam's around because I don't know enough, and I would just sound like an idiot. But since he's not here, I mean, I like that early '60s, mid '60s period of the Beach Boys. The big hits when it was Al and Mike and Brian and Carl, like the original guys. And aside from the fact that this is called Summer Days and Summer Nights, there's some songs here to me that just, scream summer. California Girls.
And that David Lee Roth cover later in the 80s.
So, yeah. This and Surfing Safari were great. All those early surfing records were just.
Yep.
When I think of summer, I'm like, I want to listen to the Beach Boys.
So. I haven't even played this yet. This is beat the
That's
shit.
A great comp.
It's like it is a good comp. It's got everything I want on it. It's like, look at that. Like it's coming at the bottom. They're all friggin' scuffed and dirty, but
that's a double though, right, Jason?
Yeah.
Well, if it's a double into the Beach Boys, that's about 43 songs, because each of those songs is about 2 minutes and 20 seconds long.
There's a lot on there.
I've got their digitally. I've got the when they did the 50th anniversary tour where it was the reunion of Mike Love's Beach Boys and then Brian Allen, David Marks. And they did something like 44 songs, and it still only clocks in at like 90 minutes.
That should be one of us. Well, not me, but like you or Sam. Someone should do a Beach Boys video, like educate people on the Beach Boys, the different phases about.
I don't know enough about them. That's
I don't
the
know
thing.
shit about them.
Rob, it was Paul Dano. You're right.
Paul
it
Dano.
was Paul Dano.
Paul Dano. Thank you. Yeah. I'm Paul
Dano's the next friggin' Daniel Day-Lewis. That guy's the shit.
Brilliant. I'm kind of off with the Beach Boys after Pet Sounds. I kind of lose interest. So to me, it's up to Pet Sounds, and then beyond that, who cares?
That's when I gain interest.
I love Pet Sounds.
Yeah,
not like Sam likes Pet Sounds, but
yeah. But I love like that. We were when I was down there visiting Sam, we were listening to
oh Christ.
We were listening to actually it's right here. This is not part of the show. We were listening to Everything Harmony from the Lemon Twigs and kind of talking, power pop, modern day power pop, but where did they get it from? And we were just connecting of how much of this is like Brian Wilson influence, but specifically that Surf's Up Holland type area, like that more psychedelic, almost darker type shit, right? Like that's when they're going through some times. But yeah, I think they're kind of like the Monkey. I'm not gonna say they're like the Monkees, but I think when people look at some of their early stuff, it's like, oh, it's just like joke band talking about surfing and shit. You know what I mean? It's like, no, like they knew what they were doing. Like,
yeah,
especially Brian, obviously, but like they knew what they were doing.
That's one of the concerts that I was so thankful that I got to see Brian Wilson perform live, and I'm so glad I did. He never moved from his piano, but it didn't matter. I was watching Brian, and like when they did Heroes and Villains, I'm like,
oh man,
God damn it. Brian Wilson is 75 feet in front of me singing Heroes and Villains.
I don't think, he's got like dementia and shit now. And he's under full care. Probably not going to happen again. So that's an amazing experience.
It was good to get to see him with Al Jardine.
Yeah.
Because, there's two camps, right? You're the Mike Love Beach Boys or Brian and Al. And I think Mike Love's an asshole. I've seen Mike Love's Beach Boys too. And while they put on a fun concert, no argument about it, it was fun. It wasn't the Beach Boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, moving along here. Endless Summer is so summer. They put it in the title. That's right.
Never
Patio Lanterns by Kim Mitchell. Yes.
Nice job, Wayne. That's a good one.
Was Kim Mitchell a thing in the States? Do you guys know Kim Mitchell?
So here's what's funny, right? Is like I might have mentioned it to you too. For me, a band that I've always wanted to deeply, deeply get into, but I can't find shit from them down here is Max Webster.
Dime a dozen up here.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, maybe if one of you wanted to, send me some shit.
I'll send you. Is there anything in particular you're looking for, or just
any of them? I mean, they released maybe 4 or 5 records in that time.
I think so.
What I think the big one was what, like High Heeled Glass or Glass of what was it, or
Diamonds? Something. I think was what's the one that Jace? What's the one with the white cover? Was that called Diamonds after the big hit? It's white and it's got like a blue and yellow. Fuck, I don't know.
But I got the note on my phone to find that for you, Alex. That and the Rush
anything Rush on the original Anthem label, right?
The Anthem label, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like I've never found a Max Webster record down here. To me they're right up my alley, right? They're kind of artsy, they're kind of poppy, they're proggy, they're hard rock, they're kind of all like they don't make any sense, which is my type of band. And I don't want to say it was the big record. I just know the record that I've been told to inform to get was like what high glass shoes or high heeled glass, or there's something about shoes and glass and heels or highs or.
This was their big one, A Million Vacations.
A Million Vacations. Okay, yeah, I've heard
that's the big one.
I don't recognize that.
Oh, really? I think I said diamonds on it. I think that was their big one. But yeah, if I see any Max Webster, I'll grab it for you. I see them everywhere at flea markets and shit.
That's the thing. So they never did shit here, which means Kim Mitchell didn't do anything here either. Because I think let's put it this way, people in the States assume that Kim Mitchell people in the States just assume that Max Webster is a person.
Right.
But the only Kim Mitchell song I remember hearing, and you two would both appreciate that, was the whatever one of the big hits was that Ricky is singing in Trailer Park Boys. It's like that was right, like he's blasting that from his car. Yeah, it's just so funny. I've never, and I frequent these stores like to a problematic extent. I've never found one. I also don't know if they're going to be in the M's or if they're going to be in the W's.
Well, and that raises the question: how do you organize your records? Well, it's not a person; it's the name of a band, so it should be under M.
It should be under M. Perfect. I was high class, not glass, in borrowed shoes. What high glass heels or glass high heels? Yeah, we know. Whatever.
Close enough.
Close enough. Yeah.
Close enough.
Who's individual artist, Alex? If you have Bob Dylan albums, are they under B or D?
Oh, D.
Yeah.
D.
Where else would you put it? If you have it under B, go move it because it's in the wrong spot.
Bruce Springsteen, Rob, is your Nebraska album in the S's or the B's?
Why would it be under B? His name is.
Why would it be under B?
I love it.
But there are people. I mean, we talk about who owns it. You know, Steve at All the World's a Stage does it that way,
and he's wrong.
Puts everything under first name,
and he's wrong.
He's wrong. The only artist that I will give credence to, who will put it under both because it's such a huge technicality, is Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Because it began as the Alice Cooper Band. Alice Cooper was not a person. It was the Alice Cooper Band. So I could totally see that going under A. And then obviously he took on the persona of Alice Cooper and became Alice Cooper. So I can understand going under C. That's the only one I'm like, I could see both sides of that. Yeah.
Here's the reason why I do it the right way. If you go to a library and you're looking for A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens,
you're looking under that dick.
Are you looking under C? No, his name is Dickens. You look under D.
You look under.
Rob goes to the library to look for Dickens.
That was a bad example. Let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just impressed that you knew that Tale of Two Cities was.
I know.
Was Chucky D. Was Chuck Dickens? You know.
I read it when I was 15.
How do you remember that shit?
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Correct. I do read from time to time, you know. Not anymore, but
Jason, it's your turn, brother. Were you also Beach Boys, Jason?
No, I wasn't going to show that. I just brought that to show because I assumed Sam or someone else would have a Beach Boys. So I was going to be, hey, I'm important too. You know? Okay, I'm going to switch it up to something that's not so rock heavy, but it's a total summer thing, and attribute this to my kids because whenever, and I don't, obviously when I go camping, I don't have a record player, but I'll stream this album. It's one of my favorite albums. It's a firebox album for me. If I leave my house, I'm grabbing this in a hurry. One of the best sounding albums in my collection, Alex. If we ever did that thing with, you know, best sounding albums, this is the number. This is up there for sure. And I've shown this. I've shown this album before, but when I go camping, it's like I'll make the kids their breakfast, and then I'll say, "Get the hell out of the camper," and I'll clean up. And when I clean up, this stuff goes on, and that's this album by Gillian Welch, which is The Harrow and the Harvest. So for me, I'll listen to this all year long for sure. This is an amazing album. Please, anyone pick this album up if you can find it. The opening track, Scarlet Town, probably one of my favorite songs. Anyway, just beautifully recorded, beautifully pressed. Like this is the whole Stephen Marcussen mastering, QRP pressed. Like this is like an audiophile record for sure. And incidentally, probably my favorite album artwork that I own, period. If not number one, number two. Anyway, so this is summer because I would always play this when I'm just waking up, having my coffee, getting breakfast going, cleaning up after breakfast. This is a summer album for me. Well, it's an all year album, but heavy summer vibes for me. But it's definitely not like a rock feel good rolling down the street album. It's more of just like a mellow, cool vibe, warm summer morning, having my coffee. I want to hear this.
And what did you make for breakfast?
Oh, it's either eggs or pancakes, the usual kind of shit, right? You know, bacon, sausage.
Man, there's nothing camping eggs, man.
Eggs. Man, I love it. I
just toss them all in there.
Start the fire, the big cast iron over top. Just scorching hot. It's the best.
Jason lives so remotely. If he wants to go camping, he just sits on the front lawn.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
just shoo away those deer, and the bears.
All right. Well, I'll do a double shot because this is the band I want to talk about really quick that is not talked about a lot, but to me, really represents. I would think Jason specifically, you would totally be into these guys. Like, not to say that you do this type of stuff, but if you were the type of guy to just light up and have yourself a night, sit down on that patio, whatever it may be. Listen, there's a time in my life.
Write this down.
Write this down. There's a time in my life I was living down south in Charlotte, North Carolina, where it was like 99 fucking degrees every damn day. And I kid you not, I had a streak of like 3 months where I would just sit out on my back patio with no shirt on. Oh my God. It was like the depressed Michelin man out there. And I would listen, I would smoke a cigar and listen to this listen to this band all the time. And it just put me in such a vibe. I'll tell you, this was like a precursor to the coal mine stuff. Jason, totally. Pretty big band. They're out of Houston, Texas. A trio, total neo psychedelic soul that just screams Sunburn. It's all instrumental with the exception of some kind of like backing, like type chanty type stuff. But the name of the band is Khruangbin. This was, I think, their debut that came out a number of years ago. Con Todo El Mundo. This was their most recent Mordecai that came out, I think, maybe 2020 or 2021.
That looks familiar. Yeah.
And they have a new album coming out on Friday.
How do you spell that? Is it KHRU something?
KHRUANGBIN. It is Thai for airplane.
Now, isn't he part of the Texas Moon kind of thing?
Yes. So Texas Moon is Texas Moon and Texas Sun is Khruangbin with Leon Bridges.
Gotcha. Yep.
Which those are two EPs that are beautiful, just great.
They're freaking amazing. Yeah.
So I mean, again, these guys are a little bit bigger. They might be on. I'm trying to remember what label these cats are on. They are. They're on Dead Oceans. So Dead Oceans is the independent label that is out of Bloomington, Indiana, which is now the same label that Durand Jones and the Indications is on. If you remember Jason and Rob watching my interview with Terry Cole, there's a great partnership between Coal Mine and Dead Oceans because a lot of the Coal Mine artists will go to Dead Oceans for stuff, and Durand Jones is one of those. So, yeah, I mean, it is like, it's just so laid back. It's so chill, beautiful psychedelic soul that is just all summer, all the time. They're coming to Columbus here in June. I'm really excited to check them out and see them. So that was supposed to be really quick. I apologize, but man, yeah, they're just awesome. And it's just perfect. It's in the best way. It's background music, man. Like you're making dinner, you're out doing your work, and it's just going on in the background. It is just everything you need it to be. But my real pick, I guess, is one of my favorite bands of all time. And like I said before, to me, summer is all about live music. I just want to go check out live music, sit there, and a lot of times that leads itself into jam bands and those different things. Jason, I don't know if you're going to be showing some jam bands later, maybe one of your favorite bands, but they were one of the first I thought of. But to me, one of the best of all time, Southern rock band, and one of my favorites, of course, is the Allman Brothers. And to me, I mean, you cannot go wrong with Fillmore East. It's just, I mean, this is a perfect, arguably the greatest live album of all time. Just absolutely perfect. I just think like this is very weird, like ASMR type detail of listening. But to me, it's like if you listen to a record, especially a live record, and you can just imagine the artists and musicians and the audience sweating. That's a summer record. And I just feel like when I'm like, they got to be sweating up there. Like Dwayne is just up there. He got to be dripping from that ass for sure. And I'm into it. But the special shout out I want to give, funny, this is how I knew that I might actually be able to like hear audio differences between like quote unquote audiophile, whatever you want to call it. This was a Record Store Day issue from several years ago, an Evening with the Allman Brothers Band. But this is later Allman Brothers. This was after Warren Haynes joined. So we're talking like early 90s. This one came out. And I remember putting this on This has a beautiful. Check out this wax. Oh, come on.
Beautiful black.
Let me check out this wax. Oh yeah, that was some good wax.
Nice.
Good wax. So this was later. This was like 90s. Obviously, again, you got Warren Haynes on here. But I put the needle on this thing, and it just had this pop to it. Not like bad pop, but I'm saying like, ooh, this one hit me right in my tit. Like I was like, this is good. Like I just had that groove and that funk. And if you know anything about the Allman Brothers, you know, they obviously went through tragedy with not only Dwayne Allman, but Barry Oakley. The whole story of like Barry Oakley died the year after their bass player, the year after Dwayne Allman did, in the same way on the same fucking road. I mean, it's like weird shit how that happened. They went through some hard times in the 70s, but when they came back with Warren Haynes, man, they were a different band. There was like this stank and heaviness to it. But as soon as I played this thing, I was like, dang, this thing sounds good for like a live album, man. This thing is punching. And then, of course, like I looked it up and it's a Kevin Gray cut. And I'm like, okay, like it makes sense. This was actually like, this became actually kind of a valuable record. It was pretty limited. But man, give me Allman Brothers live and then this jamming out. I'll listen to it in memory of Elizabeth Reed for days. Oh man, there's nothing like it, man. So that's my pick there.
Almost pulled the Fillmore East. That was Elizabeth Reed. Like what a fucking fantastic cut that is.
Oh,
unreal.
So good. A beauty. I love
good
that
choice. I'll have to look into the later stuff. I haven't ventured beyond the Dwayne Allman stuff. I'm still kind of new to it all, but that sound, you've sold me on that.
Yeah,
one there.
You don't need to worry about anything after like Brothers and Sisters. You know, that's a Dickie Betts record. They kills it, but like you don't win, lose, or draw is kind of, it's meh. But when they came back in the 90s with it was a different sound, and they came back with a vengeance, man. I think you'd like it because it's still the classic Allman Brothers, but it's modernized. You know, it's like heavier. It's got that funk and just menace to it in a good way.
You use the word stank. I want to get in on that stank.
You do, don't you, baby girl?
Just don't shower for a couple days.
Yeah, no worries there. No.
Speaking of Warren Haynes, I love his other band, Government Mule.
So good. Oh, and I had tickets to see Government Mule last year or 2 years ago when they were doing. So one of the records I have is Dark Side of the Mule. They do their Pink Floyd shit. They were doing Dark Side of the Mule tour. Had my tickets. Fucking COVID got me, man. Day of, man. I had to go. I couldn't go, but Government Mule. That talk about some stank. I mean, you want to talk about like a fusion of like, damn, this is bluesy Southern rock, but this is heavy. This got some stank sauce. This got some sauce to it, right?
Yes.
Oh, Jason, you would love Government Mule, my man.
I keep hearing them because I think they opened or they were on tour with Pearl Jam or something like that. Like I've heard that name so many times. Yeah.
I found out about them before I made the connection of Warren Haynes being in Government Mule and Allman Brothers, but I'm a huge fan of Grace Potter, and she's done a lot of stuff with Warren Haynes before. So
okay. Yeah.
That was my gateway into Government Mule. So love those guys.
Yeah.
Don't have any vinyl. Have some Mule CDs though.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it was what I think their debut was 95 or something like that, or came out. That's not going to be the era of it, but I remember seeing the Allman Brothers once when I was in high school, and of course didn't think much of it because you still had. I don't know if Dickie wasn't up there. I don't think, but they still had Greg, and it was Warren Haynes up there ripping, obviously, and then Derek Trucks because that's the nephew of Butch Trucks, and Derek Trucks, of course, from the Tedeschi Trucks band. Yeah, just ripping.
That's awesome.
Or as Glenn calls them, Tedeschi Trucks.
Yep. All right. I'm going to show something here that is I don't know that I've ever shown this before, but I love this band for a lot of reasons, but one reason in particular. This is the Bangles.
Dude, I have to tell you something, Rob. Can I tell you right now?
Please.
Yeah.
So you love the Bangles, but I know you love the Bangles because of Susanna. So this...
I would eat the peanuts out of her shit.
We're live, sir.
I know we are.
Okay, so this Saturday, I'm going to a show, and I don't know if there's going to be a video out, but it's going to be the VC crossover event of the year, potentially, if they decide to do a video with me. But we're seeing an artist, and drumming for that artist is Debbie Peterson.
Oh, fuck. That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? Yes, and it's a club of like 600 people.
Yeah, I know she's touring with Matthew Street.
That's who we're seeing.
Yeah.
Yep, that's who we're seeing. Yep.
So I love the Bengals, and Susanna Hoffs, I like to say, is my fantasy wife, making me hot just thinking about it. And Vicky Peterson, who is their guitar player, I'm friends with her nephew, and he posted pictures of him with her in Niagara Falls, and I'm just like, I would have loved to meet Vicky Peterson because, I mean, I'm never going to meet Susanna Hoffs, but, at any rate, my fantasies aside, I love the Bengals, and this was the last record they ever put out. This came out in 2011. This was 3 of the Bengals because Michael Steele, the bass player, had retired. So it's just Vicky, Debbie, and Susanna. And it's a good record, actually. I like it. It's called Sweetheart of the Sun. I mean, the Bengals are poppier than pop, but this kind of I'll just call it Sweethearts of the Sun, but it's kind of got like a summer feel to it, more so than any of the other stuff they'd done. And there's no hits on here that anyone would know. You'd have to be a hardcore Bengals fan to have even heard this record. So they did the 3 when they were huge in the 80s. They did a reunion album in like 2001 called Doll Revolution, which was amazing. This has kind of got a big summery feel to it. And this particular copy there's a couple different colored variants out there, but this was one that was very limited. This color, there's only 300 of them in the world, which is kind of cool. And I do have it up there on my wall. Yeah, autographed by Vicky, Debbie, and Susanna. So
really,
I got like a dozen Bengal autographs kicking around. So,
out of all the things that you have autographed, Rob, like the records, guitars, whatever it might be,
yeah.
What percentage were in person here signed this versus that you like acquired through either purchasing or trades or whatever the hell?
Well, saying that most of the stuff that I have autographed is sort of Canadian people that most people watching won't give a shit. Probably 80% of the stuff that I've got is in person. But of all the famous people, I've got a Mick Fleetwood, Lindsey Buckingham, John McVie autographed album. I didn't meet them. That's purchased. My Robbie Robertson, purchased. So all the big names, Taylor Swift, all purchased. But all of the memorabilia per se is stuff that I've got myself. So
there was a great reel on Instagram there a day or 2 ago with the Black Keys signing all their new albums, and just the 2 of them just going down this line in a record factory, just like black marker, like just crazy amount of signing, right? But whatever, it's fucking cool. It's them.
Well, and I love that more artists are doing that nowadays, right? Because you can buy shit direct off their website, and why not give people a little perk, Yeah,
absolutely.
Are Bengals fans called banglets or bangers? Neither.
What do you call yourself, Rob?
In love with Susanna Hoffs.
I mean, who isn't, man? That's
right.
She's big time.
Oof. Yes. Let's see a few comments here. Battled Sun by Pink Floyd ? I'm not the Pink Floyd expert. I don't know that one. So all yacht rock is summer music. Sure it is.
Fair.
I can see that.
Speaking of Alice Cooper, School's Out is kind of summery. Yeah, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is.
That's a good call, Richard. Yep.
I have a good strip club memory about that song, but that's for another day.
It's better than a bad strip club memory about that song.
But you know what? Yeah. You can't really have a bad strip club memory, right? It's like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Yeah. Sir.
It's a good story. It's a good story.
I have lots of great strip club stories.
I know. We need to have an in-person meetup to get all these stories.
Like the time I partied with Ron Jeremy.
Oh, man, I don't know. I don't need to hear that, man.
I hope he didn't choose this.
He teach you some tricks there, Rob?
No, not that kind of party. Moving on. Jason, what do you got? I think we can go around the horn one more time.
Yeah, all right, last one here for me. Another comp, but a great comp, and an early purchase when I started collecting records. This is a Canadian original, 1974 release. Highlights their first 3 albums. I don't own anything else by this guy or this band, and it's kind of sad. But I'm glad I have it. And that is very summary for me. I will always listen to this in the summer, not necessarily only in the summer, but Santana's greatest hits.
Hell yeah.
Like if that doesn't scream like summer good time vibes, I think of Woodstock right away with their performances there and all that naturally. But Evil Ways, Oya Como Va is huge for me. Like I can look at this album and that song rifles through my head really quickly. Anyway, so Santana for me is a very summery guy. I don't like. It's kind of sad how little I know about him and the group and stuff. And when I was quickly reading about this beforehand, how he had like a core group of guys for so many albums, and then basically he just became a guy that just grabbed whoever, whenever was available, and he typically produced something pretty decent, right? I know he had his big kind of renaissance with Rob Thomas and the Smooth song, which incidentally I can't freaking stand because it was just overplayed, like beyond overplayed. It's still great, but I just was so tired of it that I had no interest in Santana's later career. I just wanted to learn more about the early days, right? How young he was. Like, I'm not Woodstock footage. Sorry?
Did that also spoil Matchbox 20 for you?
Yeah, it did. I was never a big Matchbox 20 guy, and I don't know what it was about them. I guess I was just into other stuff, and I was like, whatever. And then he comes out with Santana and does the song Smooth, and it's super popular, which, and more of a poor reflection on me to say that I just kind of dismissed all of it. But early Santana, he's like, I am all in on any artist that is a bloody genius and they're super fucking young. Like if you're so bloody young and you're just on stage as like a 20-year-old killing it, and and especially at Woodstock where you're like hundreds of thousands of people are watching, like I want to hear that story. I want to hear all the stories. I want to know the albums that lead up to that stories. I want to know the album that follows that story, and to see what they can do. Clearly, the guy's a freaking genius. He knows what he's doing. He's done nothing but decades worth of quality work. But all I really know is kind of what's on this. So I know I have a lot of learning to do there, but it is a great album. And for me, it's definitely a summertime kind of album.
Well, and Jason, I'd be curious. I don't know if we've talked about this, but there's some great just stories in general about Carlos and Santana's band about when they really wanted to sign with Columbia Records back in like '69 or whatever. But they also apparently were auditioning at the same time that Atlantic Records was like trying to sign them as well. So there's a story of him like basically he completely like murdered his audition for Atlantic Records. So they would be like, fuck these guys, they suck. Simply so that he would be able to sign with Columbia, because that was head up by my P-Bird mind can't think of Clive Davis from Columbia Records, who was leading at the time. So he wanted to sign with Clive, but also Atlantic was coming over. And so he just basically admitted to like, I purposely messed up the Atlantic Records audition for that. But to me, what's so fascinating, taking it back to what we were talking about before, that I think you would love, Jason, is you got to listen to those first 2 or 3 Journey records, because Journey, before they became the Journey that everybody knows and hates, they were born out of the Santana band.
So commercial.
Yeah, they were born out of the Santana band. So Neil Schon is on those 2nd and 3rd and 4th Santana records. He went on to form Journey, of course, with Greg Raleigh. So
I
had
no idea. That's awesome.
So Greg Raleigh, who's singing on most of those tracks, they went on. So Journey was founded out of the Santana band. And so their first 3 records specifically are basically, they're like heavier jazz fusion with some Latin influence type records. And then when Steve Perry joined in like 78 or whatever it was, they gradually went more and more commercial to a point where you don't even know, but it's like the first, I think that what's crazy is that first Journey record, Ansley Dunbar is playing drums. Like it doesn't even make sense. But it's killer. I mean, it's amazing, like jazzy fusion. So it's like a heavier Santana type shit. It's great.
Oh my God. Alex, you're a freaking genius, man. I don't know how you remember all this shit. Good for you. That's cool. I'm going to check that out for sure.
That first Journey record. Yeah, because I think the first Journey record was like 74 or 75, something like that. It smacks, as the children say. Yeah. In fact, I think when Journey, see, now we're talking Ansley Dunbar. In fact, to me, when Journey was at their best was when Steve Perry and Greg Raleigh truly were sharing the lead vocals, right? So one of their big hits that came out again late 70s was Feeling That Way / Anytime. It was basically one track after the other that they always just included into one. But it was like you had Greg Raleigh singing the verses and then Steve Perry coming in on the choruses. And it was like legitimate 2 lead vocalists going on at the time. That was just, I mean, they were killer. And then Greg Raleigh left, and I think Jonathan Cain came in. Second reference, Jonathan Cain coming from the Babies. Smack my ass.
I can't get over how much knowledge you have, man. It is impressive to say the least.
All right. Is my time? Is it my turn, Rob?
Sure. It's whoever's turn it wants to be now.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, it wouldn't be a beer and vinyl little thing without talking a little Coal Mine Records. Okay, listen.
Yeah.
Jason, I might have been talking to you about this guy. So how did I find this guy? I was actually in a local record store here in Columbus, Ohio with the great Concert Buddy. For those who know Concert Buddy, Rob, I know you know Concert Buddy.
Yeah, him and
I was subscriber number 5 on his channel, and he and I and he and I both started YouTube at the same time 2 years ago, and we've been fast friends ever since then. So
love it, yeah. So
we watched each other's channel before anyone watched either of us. So.
See, you've known each other since the beginning. Well, we don't want to dox him by using his real name, so we're using Concert Buddy. But he was in Columbus, and we met up and went record shopping. It was great. So we were in one of my local shops, and was just out there digging through some stuff or whatever, and the store owner was playing something over the loudspeakers, and I'm like, Jack, what are you playing, man? Like I could tell it was live. It didn't necessarily have an orchestra behind it, but you could tell there was like horns behind it. It was funky. It was soulful. It was like, it felt like it was out of 1973, but felt more modern. I was fully into it. And this is funny enough. This was like right in the midst of my coal mine obsession, and I had no idea what this was. I was like, Jack, what are we listening to right now?
Francis.
And he said, he's like, oh, dude, this is the new live record from Neil Francis. Francis Comes Alive. So, I know, great cover, great terms. This is Francis Comes Alive from Neil Francis, who is a singer-songwriter from the States, old school. Blue-eyed soul, funky blues, just rock and roll, really. I mean, it's like no other way. Sometimes it's just rock and roll. This was a double LP. This was on, again, this came out just earlier this year on ATO Records, which is Dave Matthews' record label. I think that's who. Did Black Pumas go to ATO, I think?
I don't know.
Okay. They might be. But funny enough, the debut from Neil Francis was released on Karma Chief. In fact, it was Karma Chief 12,003. So it was one of the earliest releases on Karma Chief. This is changes, but man, this is like, again, I show this because it's got the live album, but it is just like, man, I don't know, Jason, if you were able to give it a listen or not, or give it a stream.
I did. That day you sent it, I listened to it and I was like all in.
I'm like
phenomenal.
Yeah. And he, this was from Chicago. Again, you can kind of tell just like back cover, the whole setup there. I mean, he's got kind of like this glammy look too. Just awesome stuff. So, I mean, I'll be doing a little video. Well, not a video on Neil Francis, but he'll be making an appearance in a video soon. But just like, yeah, again, leading back into the live thing. If you're into, again, that old school blue-eyed soul, just rock and roll with the horns, with the funk, with the soul, man, like that record, that Francis Comes Alive, blew my mind, man. That thing had me bopping my head for hours, man. It was just great stuff.
I'm so grateful, man.
That label. I'm looking at Richard S. out here because he's always on it. Richard, you need to listen to Francis Comes Alive, man. You'll love it. I promise you.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, what's he got here?
To close it out, a couple one-hit wonder summer songs. Len, Steal My Sunshine. They're that pop band from Toronto.
Steal My Sunshine.
And Katrina in the Waves, Walking on Sunshine.
Good. Awesome.
Richard says, I'm on it, Alex.
That a boy.
I pulled a couple more, but I'm not going to go, maybe I'll mention them real quick. I got to do one for Sam because Sam's not here tonight. A band that I do not understand. I do not get why the VC thinks that they're fantastic. And I'm not saying that the VC is wrong. I'm saying that I don't know what I'm missing. Mm-hmm. But I don't get why people revere these guys. The Monkees. Don't get it. I don't get it. That said, I like the stuff from the TV show. And on this Greatest Hits, which is some German pressing that I've got, the song Pleasant Valley Sunday. Beautiful. That's like every suburban weekend in the summer, right?
Yep.
The local rock group down the street is trying hard to play their song, and guy's mowing his lawn and wash his car. Like that's my neighborhood every weekend, right? So every time I hear Pleasant Valley Sunday, I think about how I love weekends in the summer.
Absolutely. Right. A great song, man.
Couple more. I'm doing this lightning round real quick. Because I went through the effort of pulling them, so I'm going to show them. Kind of sticking with the baseball theme. Center Field by John Fogerty.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right. And last one I'm going to show. This is a great album. Juno Award winner for Rock Album of the Year in 2012 or 13. Matt Mays, Coyote.
Okay.
You know this one, Jason. You should know this one. If you don't know this one, you should know this one.
I know it. Well, I don't know Fantastic. It well, but I know of it.
So I have a lot of memories of this album, but the lead single off here is called Indio, about Indio, California. It's a surfing song is what it is. So just whenever I hear it, I picture surfing in that whole – it's not a surf song like the Beach Boys. It's a rock song, but it's about Matt learning to surf, and he spent some time in California and down in Mexico and all that. So that's the lead track, and it's also the lead single, and it just puts me in the summer mood every time I hear it. So that's all I got.
I love it.
Got anything else, Jason?
That's it. That's pretty much kind of wraps me up for the evening. Yeah.
Well, we're zeroing in on 2 hours. So you guys do anything video-wise? Stupid question to ask Jason. Did you do anything recently? Do you have anything planned? I know the answer to both of those is no. But what do you have you guys got anything you want to tell folks about? Anything coming up?
Let me go grab something really quick here. Hold on.
Sure. What about you, Jason? I was being sarcastic, but nothing.
No. I was supposed to. Alex is trying to get me to come on to do an hour-long kind of interview on something that we have yet to decide what the actual topic is, but I am keen to do it. Just life's a little chaotic right now, but I'll make time for it.
I'm going to email you later, Jason. I'm not going to give away too many details, but
don't tell me. Just let it be.
No. I'm just going to whet your appetite. There is a certain violent community channel in Europe that really likes Canadian music for some reason. So,
really,
he talks to me all the time because I proclaim myself the Canadian music guy, and he would love to do a collaboration with you, me, maybe a couple other Canadians talking about Canadian music. So I'll reach out to you about that in the next day or two.
That's cool. Right on. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Alex, you're up. What do you got cooking?
Yeah, well, most recent video that I posted was a Power Pop primer, as it's called. I did that, I think, maybe Sunday or Monday. Just kind of a chat through the decades of Power Pop and how it started and where it's at now and everything in between. So that is, I don't know what you would say, performing well. I don't know. I don't really know what well means, but it doesn't matter. But the next video that we'll probably post is another interview. So obviously I did my interview with Terry Cole several weeks, if not a month ago or whatever it was now. And I did an interview last Friday with a guy that has a Coal Mine Records connection, but he is a composer, orchestrator, arranger that has history doing orchestration for Disney with The Little Mermaid and with he's responsible for like the orchestration behind the Columbia Pictures jingle. Like,
oh, cool.
Kind of like one of these things, like you hear these ads or you hear these commercials or watch these movies or shows and you like hear it and you're like, oh, it's him. But what's super cool and what I'm just in love with this was one of my favorite records from last year was a Coal Mine release, but it was from a band called the Ironsides called Changing Light. And basically it was like this West Coast sort of retro soul outfit that wanted to do, West Coast retro soul stuff, but wanted to add sort of strings and orchestration and sort of give this very soundtracky type vibe to the record. So the gentleman I worked with, Lewis Robert King, had some history working with some of these guys and said, well, yeah, I'll do it, whatever. And this record, I kid you not, again, Changing Light from the Ironsides, blew my mind. This was like, it just blew my mind. So the interview is with him and just kind of talking about his history and experiences as a composer and in the business, and then obviously how he got set up doing this record. And it wouldn't be an Alex video, it wouldn't be an Alex interview, it wouldn't be an Alex thirst trap without a giveaway. So I'll be giving away a copy of Changing Light from the Ironsides to whoever comments. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, what? It's probably going to go to a Canadian, and then I'm stuck with like a $30 shipping charge. So
I've been streaming that, Alex. I've been streaming that album for the last 3 days. Every time I go somewhere in the truck, I'm listening to that album.
Really?
I swear to God. Oh yeah.
It's cool. It's vibing, and they got some more work that's going on right now, and I'm just really excited for it. So yeah, it was just it's always cool interviewing musicians, but interviewing, it's like thinking about the difference of like the work that he does versus just somebody who plugs in a guitar and plays, right? So that was very cool, but that will be posting in the next it'll be posting before the weekend. So yeah.
That's great, man.
Very good. So Jason, nothing in the pipeline?
No.
So for myself, I just did a video on Sunday, which is my usual upload day. As I mentioned, for those that didn't see at the very beginning, Brian, my palette embryonic robot, did songs about Toronto. We did 2 videos. And I'm like, I can do a quick response for that. And then being the OCD compulsive person that I am, I'm like, no, I got to do it properly. I got to shoot a proper video and do all the other shit. So it ended up being my weekly video, and that was fun. And I think the video for next week, I was listening in the car today to the Eagles live at the Forum from 2018 or whatever, or 2020 or whatever the hell it was. I think it was 2018 with Vince Gill and Deacon Fry in the lineup. Fantastic live record. And I've like listened to it it's like 4 LPs. So I've listened to it like 3 times through in the last couple of days. And every time I skip Hotel California because I'm sick of the song.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of these people like, it's commercial, it's overplayed, but I just don't want to hear that song anymore. And I got to thinking that there are a certain number of songs that 100% of the time I skip them. So I'm going to talk about the songs that I skip, because I'm an album guy. I don't have mixes. I don't have playlists. I listen to entire albums, start to finish, all the time. Most of the time it's in my car because I drive all over the place for work. But there's always songs on a handful of albums that I skip all the time. So I think I'm going to do a video about that this week.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's all I got. Thank you, everybody, for watching this evening. And I'll do it. We just right at 2 hours, 2 hours and 3 minutes. So thanks, Jason and Alex, for joining us. Too bad Sam couldn't make it, but hopefully he'll be back with us next week. So everybody, check out Alex at Beer and Vinyl and Jason Arsenault, and we will see everybody next Wednesday. Good night, everybody.
Night, y'all. Appreciate it. See you guys.
Ciao.